Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to rank all the stands from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Let's start with Star Platinum. This is just pure awesome. Extremely fast, extremely precise as well, unbelievably strong. And it is the stand of Jotaro, who is the grandson of Joseph Joestar. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like Dragon Ball in the sense that it has power levels, but it's also not like Dragon Ball. In DBZ, you win by being stronger, whereas in this, while that's a factor, people's stands and abilities can do really strange things, and to an extent, you have to figure out what they can even do, and then how the hell do you counter it. Once Jotaro has figured out how it works and he's got you in a corner, that's when you get oh! And you just get the ridiculous punch rush of the century. He breaks all your bones, throws you through a brick wall, and as we find out later on, spoilers, but look, actually it's not really a spoiler. If you're watching this, you already know. Later on, it can stop time, like someone else's stand. It's absolutely hype, this stand. You can't really go wrong. With Star Platinum, Zawardu! Yeah, I would say that once Jotaro's figured out your ability and he's got you in a corner, it's just game over. You're done. It's finished. Oh yeah, we're gonna put this in Love It. You can't really put this anywhere else. No one's gonna put it in shit tier. Then we have Magician's Red! Avdol! Magician's Red is a fire stand, and I kind of just think it's okay, to be honest. I don't really remember any major battles that it wins, but according to Avdol, you can't even shoot him with bullets. He can make his fire so hot that it will just melt the bullets out of the air. He can also do this thing where it like creates a candelabra that just floats around, and the flames can sense the directions and locations of enemies and stuff like that. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, I don't remember it being anything special. I like Avdol a lot. He's a very cool character, but I'm gonna put this in... whatever. He can fly. Yeah, but they can all fly, sort of. Hermit Purple. Hermit Purple is from Joseph Joestar, who is Arc 2's JoJo. He is the grandson of Jonathan Joestar. And what I like about Hermit Purple, right, is that this stand is just complete shit. Combat-wise, this is dog shit. All you can really do is, like, you have a living Indiana Jones whip. You can swing from things, you can grab things. It's just rubbish. The thing is, though, how strong your stand doesn't determine how strong you are, because this is wielded by Joseph Joestar, who is a combat genius. Extremely clever, extremely tricky, scheming, smart, cunning, always thinking several steps ahead of the other person. He's also got Harmon. He's the only one in Stardust Crusaders who has the Harmon Sun Energy ability. So he's kind of got quite a few things going for him. Joseph Joestar in his arc, he actually has the most powerful enemies, I think, out of the entire series. Kars, who I think is the final god who basically becomes immortal and has the power over life itself. I think he's like, he might even be stronger than Dio. And Joseph only kind of beats him in a way due to luck. I think he throws him into a volcano and the volcano erupts and actually blows the bad guy into space. This is probably the shittest stand in the entire show. It's got some utility, okay? He can take spirit photography with it. He can like smash a camera, get a photo of Dio or where Dio is. If he spills like oil or a liquid or something on the ground, he can actually sort of like make a little map of where he is, which is actually handy for how he beats a certain other stand. And actually, I'll say one last thing. Joseph Joestar is so smart that he actually stops Dio from punching him. And Dio's punch would kill anyone, but he stops 1 inch before hitting him and he's like, hang on. Because he realizes Joseph has wrapped his body in the Hermit Purple stand and then he's filled it full of Harmon energy. And if Dio punched it, his hand basically would have disintegrated. Dio would easily one-shot the entire party, and they figure that out. That's why they all run away and split up. Also, he's my favorite Joestar. He's kind of the most unique. I would say like most of them are pretty serious. Joseph's like Bugs Bunny. He's just fucking awesome. Jotaro, on the other hand, is just a fucking asshole. He's such a dickhead, man. Like he calls his mum bitch when high school girls are like following him in school, just being like, oh my God, he's so hot. Oh, he likes me. No, he likes me more. Shut up. He's like, shut up, bitch. You're annoying me. And they're like, oh my God, he talked to us. Like, he's just... he's such a dickhead. I like Jotaro a lot. He's an absolute Giga Chad for all the wrong reasons. Yada yada it is. I will put Hermit Purple. I'll put it in like, even though I think this is a really shit stand, I like it because Joseph Joestar shows how useful it can be. A weak stand can be in the right hands. He was also able to see things like from across the world. Another thing I really like about Joseph is that he is a shameless bastard. Like, he can be very tricky and dishonest, especially when they're against the gambling stand, which is hilarious. And even Jotaro is shocked at this. He's like, my god, old man, you just literally told him not to cheat, and then you're just blatantly cheating in front of all of us. No, I think Joseph is mad. He's a great character. Hierophant Green! This is the stand of Kakyoin. And Kakyoin is a really cool character. I like this dude. He's really smart, and he's quite careful and considered. To use the old cliche, you need a pretty high IQ to use Hierophant Green. It's probably not going to win in a close-up fight, but how you use this is the decider. He can put this stand inside of other people and basically puppeteer and control them. There is a part where another enemy is mimicking Kakyoin, and when he eats cherries, he goes... And we all think that, like, oh, this is the bad guy just being super weird on purpose. But when Kakyoin comes back into the scene, he just does the exact same thing. That's just how he eats cherries. He's just a fucking weirdo. So yeah, I don't know. That meme is hilarious. I love that cherry episode. Hierophant Green is really useful in Kakyoin's hands because he's really intelligent. If there's stands that try to escape once they're caught, he can like attach a tendril to it and it can just like trail them forever. It can unravel itself. It's got this move called Emerald Splash, which is like a ranged attack where he shoots heaps of green diamonds at you. But honestly, I don't know how strong it is. So he uses it on Jotaro when they first meet, and it doesn't seem to do too much damage. I'm gonna put Hierophant Green, I'm gonna put it in like. I like this thing a lot. It's very dependent on the stand user himself. Oh, by the way, if you ever watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, do not watch it on Netflix, all right? The whole thing's censored. Fucking bullshit. If I get my face cut off, it just puts black on the screen, so you can't see it. It's fucking stupid. Watch it on Crunchyroll. This is a shit tier stand, and it's not even worth talking about because this is the stand that forms on Jotaro's mother after they realize that when Dio wakes up, this triggers like Jotaro to get his stand, and it also triggers his mother to get one, but you actually have to have quite a strong body and mind to handle a stand, otherwise it will just overwhelm you and kill you. That's why they have to go kill Dio, because only by killing him will they stop this whole stand nonsense with her. But we never even find out what this does, so we'll just put it in shit tier. Tower of Grey! This stand is actually extremely dangerous. It causes these huge accidents. He'll send this little fly onto like trains, onto planes, and basically just kill the pilot, cause a massive crash, kill hundreds of people. I think he's an assassin for hire. I think he's just paid by Dio. But yeah, they have to fight this thing on a plane, and basically they can't touch it. It's so fast that not even Star Platinum can hit it. And it's Kakyoin who has to figure this out and kill him by incinerating him in a web. This is where you find out that Joseph Joestar has been in 3 separate plane crashes, which is pretty funny. And that's where Jotaro after that is like, I am never, ever getting on a plane with you again, Grandpa. You are just far too dangerous. I'm kind of indifferent to it. I don't like or dislike it. I'll just put it as whatever. Am I Markiplier? Yes, I am the real Markiplier, reacting to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Silver Chariot! This stand is interesting. Combat-wise, it's very strong, but very rarely does Polnareff fight someone who's a pure combat stand. I would say this stand often looks weaker than it really is. But when he demonstrates his swordsmanship, it's insane. He can throw 5 coins in the air, stab through all of them at once, and also stab through 5 of Avdol's flames that he's left in the air as well. There's a part where Polnareff sort of gets possessed and Jojo has to fight him, and he's like, man, I actually might have to kill Polnareff just to survive. Silver is really strong like Star Platinum once he's figured out your ability and he's in close range. Then he can just cut the shit out of you. But it rarely ever does anything useful in the show, to my memory. So we'll put Silver Chariot... whatever. It's all right. Dark Moon Brew. So this is basically the underwater stand. They fight this guy on a boat. Basically, he just tries to knock you into the water, lure you into the water, and then he'll kick the shit out of you. I'm gonna put this in sucks anyway. I'll tell you why this sucks. For the same reason Aquaman sucks, all right? For the same reason Namor sucks. for the same reason the deep sucks, all right? It only works when you're in the water. Now, most of your life, you're not going to be in the ocean. So this thing is only operating at like peak level in like extremely uncommon circumstances. Now, if you're in those circumstances, fantastic. You're probably going to lose to this thing. Same with Aquaman, Namor. Since 99.999% of humans live on the land, this isn't really a threat. Strength! This one is very cool. This one is sick. Strength is used by an orangutan, which is quite interesting because, I mean, orangutans at the end of the day are much stronger than human beings. I think in an orangutan's little finger, it has more strength than in all 10 of a human's fingers. So if one of those things grabbed your arm in real life, it could probably just break a number of your bones just by squeezing. And this stand is an entire ship. It's like a gigantic like tanker that's all just surrounding this gorilla or this orangutan. And in a way, this should actually be one of the strongest stands in the show. Because once you're inside the boat, you kind of lose, man. It can just suck you in, its floor can suck you in, it can just crush you with its metal, it can just make anything that's a part of the ship just fly at you, and the monkey's a pervert as well. It just makes him extra sus. But strength, I would say, I would actually say I quite like this. I think it's really good. Ebony Devil! You have to get hurt first in order for it to work. So the stand user, he actually just reveals himself straight away. Polnareff like scratches his eye out, and he's actually quite happy about this because he's like, oh, that's a really big injury. That's good. That means my stand is going to be stronger as a result of this. And his stand possesses some sort of like Chucky-like doll that runs around with a knife. I would actually say this stand sucks. Like any stand that requires you to get hurt before you can even do anything, what are you going to do against someone like Jotaro? I think this stand's kind of shit. Yellow Emperor! Now this one, this is really dangerous. Yellow Emperor is able to mimic another person's entire appearance, so he kind of disguises himself as Kakyoin, hanging out with Jotaro. This stand is extremely strong. So not only can you basically morph into another person, but it also has no weaknesses. Like a bit of it latches onto Jotaro's arm, and he tries setting it on fire. That basically just makes it worse, spread further, and it will just like eat your body. He tries freezing it, I think, and that also makes it worse. This stand, I would say I like it simply because it's very strong. I think this is Hanged Man. This is very dangerous. This is very lethal because what this guy does is he jumps into like reflections, like mirrors, glass, and in the glass, he will like stab you in the back and there's nothing you can do about it. This is very strong. And I think he can literally appear in the glints of people's eyes or like coins being flipped. The stand user is just absolutely evil. He's just a terrible person. And he gets exactly what he deserved. Yeah, I'll put it in like. Emperor! Whole Horse! Okay, so Whole Horse's ability is that he can just make a gun appear in his hand. Which is funny because if you're not a stand user, it just looks like someone's just doing this. But this stand is extremely dangerous. It'll blow your head off. It's basically a gun with homing bullets, because the bullets are also part of his stand. It's okay. I will put this at whatever. I also like Whole Horse as a character as well. There's a part where Oingo Boingo is using his book that predicts the future, and he says, you're going to kick this woman, and then she's going to give you jewelry. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, listen, mate, I lie to women, all right? I may deceive women, but I'll never hit them. I thought that was such a good line. Oh, he's such a piece of shit, man. He's such a good character. This is Empress. This stand, I think it latches onto your body and it looks like a little sore, like a little pimple or a cut, but it gradually keeps growing. I think it grows by like eating stuff around you and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger until eventually it's like got like arms and it like punches Joseph Joestar in the face. Yeah, it's on him and it's like picking up little pieces of cutlery, little knives and trying to poke your artery and shit. It's like, it's a horrible, hideous stand. Also, it will try and incriminate you as well. So while it's on Joseph's arm, it kills a doctor who's working on him. And then it's like, oh, help! Look, I did it! I killed the doctor! I'm Joseph Joestar! I'm American and I live here! And here's my phone number! It's like, no, shut the fuck up! It's like, this thing is such a little piece of shit. It's absolutely repulsive. It's horrible. I would not want to be the stand user either, because I just feel like a dreadful person. So I'm gonna put this as dislike. It's useful, but I just hate it. Wheel of Fortune! Oh, this one's sick. Wheel of Fortune is a really cool throwback to a movie called Duel. I think this is Steven Spielberg's first movie, and this is even before Jaws. That's how old this movie is. And the plot of this film is that Dennis Weaver, he's just driving down the road one day, and I think he offends a truck driver. And for the rest of the movie, the truck driver is trying to kill him. He's just trying to ram him off the road. He's like waving him forward to be like, oh, you can pass me. And when he tries to pass, he nearly runs into another car. All the stuff in this movie gets done in this episode with Wheel of Fortune. In the movie Duel, you never actually see the driver. That's what's so cool about it. You only ever see this huge muscular arm just sitting out the window like that. That's it. That's all you ever see. And he eventually beats the guy. He gets him killed at the end. And it's just, you know he's dead because the arm's just hanging out the window. So yeah, when you see him, that's just his arm. Just like, oh, who is this dude? And when you see him for real outside of his car, that's just him. He's just heaps skinny fat. The only muscular parts of his body are his arm. Everything else is just like fat or skinny and weak. So it's just a huge bluff. Wheel of Fortune's interesting. It's a stand he layers over his car. So his car looks really dangerous, but when they beat him, his car's just actually a piece of shit. Yeah, we'll put it in like, justice! This is really dangerous. It might be one of the most powerful stands in the whole show, because what it does is, as long as she's stabbed a hole in your body somewhere, her stand can basically create fog, and it will go through that hole and it will puppeteer you. It will just control you, whether you're alive or dead. And it has one of the most horrific scenes in the history of storytelling, where she gets a wound through Polnareff's tongue, and with his tongue, turns him around to face an Indian toilet. And you can see where I'm going with this. But oh my god, it's just him like, no, don't do it. And she's like, you're gonna clean that toilet, mate. He's like, oh god, please no. And oh my god, the show really looks right into this Indian toilet, and it's like, oh fucking hell, mate. I've been to India as well. I know how terrifying those things can be. And just the fact that the writer thought of such a thing, to have her possess him to lick out the inside of it, it is just absolutely horrifying. It might be one of the worst things that's ever happened to a character in any story ever. And at the end, he's like, fuck guys, please, does anyone have any mouthwash? With chemicals. We need alcohol for this. And I think Joseph Joestar just keeps laughing at him heaps. But dude, oh my god, that's a fate I wouldn't wish on anyone. I think some people would even choose dying over that. I'm gonna put this in like. I don't think I've ever seen another story where such a thing has happened. It's just horrific. Lavazuri, Steely Dan. This stand is evil. So Steely Dan has quite an interesting philosophy, and his, you know, he's based after the band Steely Dan, which did that song, Are You Reeling in the Years? This is extremely weak, but he also talks about how he can turn that to his advantage. Because the way that stands work is that the stronger it is, the more close range it is, if that makes any sense. Whereas because this is so weak, he can actually operate this from hundreds of kilometers away. And what this does is it's absolutely minuscule. It goes inside your ear, it goes inside your brain, and then it can just like do shit within there. It can plant one of Dio's flesh buds in your brain and then like grow it. It's horrifying to even think about. Oh yeah, this is the main ability. When it's in your brain, it will react to whatever damage you do to Steely Dan. So if he's in your brain and Steely Dan slaps his arm like this, that will feel like a slap to him, but to you, it's gonna feel like a fucking elephant just smashed its trunk down on your arm. It's gonna feel like someone hit your arm with a baseball bat. It'll be like 5 to 10 times more painful than whatever happened to him. Once it's in your ear, you can't just bash him. You actually have to, because one of your friends will just die from the pain. This is actually quite a funny episode, I just remembered, because Steely Dan basically makes Jotaro follow him around town and makes him do all kinds of like horrible, humiliating things just to mess with him, to which Jotaro just like writes it all down in his book. He's got like a little book of grudges of everything bad he did to him that he's gonna repay him for. I think he actually, when he catches his stand, he squeezes it a bit and that breaks Steely's arm and leg. So he's like, oh please, you've broken my arm and leg. Isn't that enough? He's like, yeah, all right, maybe. All right, but just piss off. Because this is anime where the bad guys just love being evil, Steely Dan then tries to fly his stand into the brain of a little girl who just happens to be nearby. And that's where Jotaro's like, all right, you know what? Fuck you. And that's where you get one of the greatest beatdowns in the history of anime. I love how in the middle of that punch rush, he does like 2 like single punches just to break extra bones. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is immensely iconic. I remember when I watched it for the first time, I was like, oh, so that's where that meme comes from, and that meme, and that meme. It's where you get to be continued. It comes from JoJo, Dio going, hooray! Which I feel like that influenced the whole Pepe screaming frog. There's that amazing one where Jotaro and Dio are talking to each other. It's like, oh, Jotaro, mukata koro no ka. And like they have that, oh, you're approaching me? You know, it's where this phenomenal meme comes from.
Jotaro, Dio.
Who the fuck thinks of this shit? It's so dumb, man. Steely Dan's stand is very effective, and I actually do like his philosophy that you have to acknowledge your weaknesses. You have to admit your weaknesses, and only then can you come up with a truly effective battle plan, which he does. It's such a scummy way to beat someone. Go inside their brain and fuck them up. I'm gonna put this in dislike. The Sun. This is actually a really powerful stand, but it has a fatal weakness, which is that it's so powerful, you have to be really close, which means you have to disguise yourself. So the way that this stand works is they're crossing the desert and they're like, man, that sun is really hot. And then they realize, hang on, it's 8 p.m. Why the fuck is that sun still up? Hold on, something's not normal here. And they all realize they're roasting, even their camels pass out from the heat. And if they don't figure out the secret of this stand, it's just gonna cook them. It's just gonna dehydrate them and kill them all. Until they realize that, hang on, because of its sheer power, the stand user has to be close by. And then they realize, hang on, one of these rocks or cactuses looks exactly the same from a distance. And then they realize what it really is. And do you want to see what the secret is? The stand user was just following them in a little car with a mirror the whole time, with just like air conditioning and a soda so he can stay nice and cool. It is so unbelievably dumb that when JoJo, Kakyoin, and Polnareff figure it out and they spot what it is, they just burst out laughing. And Joseph actually thinks they've gone mad from the heat. He thinks they've just gone crazy. And it's like, no, don't get the wrong idea. We're not nuts. We figured it out, and it's so unbelievably stupid that even we can't believe it. And so Star Platinum just throws a rock through the mirror, knocks out the guy, and Joseph is just like, hang on, wait, we won? Is that it? Is the episode over? But we don't even know his name. We haven't even talked to the guy yet. And that's how the episode ends. It's so stupid. What I would say about JoJo, right? Genius is bringing the wonderment of childhood into the powers of adulthood. Having the same enjoyment and sense of play you had as a kid, but with the intelligence and abilities of an adult. I would say that's what this is. Yeah, I would say the sun is very powerful, but once you figure out the trick behind it, it's just useless. I would put this in sucks. Like, this is never gonna work on Dio or any of the other stronger characters. Death of 13! This is extremely dangerous. This is a nuclear stand, and the stand user is actually a baby, believe it or not. But, you know, the baby is sentient, he's evil, he's a genius, and what this stand does is it goes into your dreams when you're asleep, and it kills you in your dream. And in your dream, you can't use your stand. So you're defenseless. And when you wake up, we all know how dreams are. You don't remember them. They're really real while they're happening, but you wake up and you have no memory that this baby was trying to kill you. So as soon as you fall asleep again, you're dead. Now, the way Kakyoin figures this out is in his dream carves the word baby stand onto his arm, because he knows from a previous dream that his wound that happened there stays in the real world. The boys think that Kakyoin's crazy. Like, Kakyoin notices something's up with the baby, and when he finally reveals to them, no, the baby must be the stand user, because I've carved baby stand on my arm. And everyone looks at him like, oh my god, he's cracked, man. He's mentally broken. And then Kakyoin, in a moment of panic, is like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take shit in my own hands. Hierophant Green! And he's about to basically bash the baby with Hierophant, and they just KO him, because they're like, fuck, man, we can't let this guy hit a baby. Then they all fall asleep, and then they wake up in the dream world, and it's like, oh shit. Like, and Polnareff is like, oh fuck, no, Kakyoin was right. This baby's gonna kill us all. And that's where they learn that because Kakyoin got KO'd while Hierophant Green was out, he can then bring his stand into the stand world. That's how he's able to fight and beat this dude. Oh my god, I just remembered. It's actually so slack what he does to this baby afterwards. Because he brought his stand into his world, and because he beat his stand, when they all wake up, Kakyoin's the only one with memory of what happened. And when it's time to change the baby's diaper, he says to him, look, mate, because you're a baby, I'm not gonna bash you, all right? But we're gonna drop you off in some village and you're gonna leave us the fuck alone. If you ever come back, I'm gonna punish you again. And the baby's like, what do you mean again? He's like, again, like what I'm about to do now. And as he's changing his diapers, he gets the spoon for his food, gets a little nug of poo at the end, puts it in the baby's food and stirs it in, and the baby's like, oh no, oh no. I think Joseph is like, oh, here, let me feed the baby. I know how to feed it. Here it comes, choo choo. And the baby's like, no, no. Until finally, I think Polnareff tickles him and the baby laughs. And then Joseph goes, boop, there you go. And the baby's like, ah. The baby, oh dude, the baby stand punishment that Kakyoin comes up with is absolutely diabolical. Look, he didn't punch a baby, all right? And you know what? It's pretty fucking deserved. That baby was a bad egg, okay? It was a bad apple. Judgment 13, I would say I dislike it because it's strong, but it's also a really dirty way to fight, all right? It's evil, you know, I don't like it. Judgment. It basically seems like a genie in a lamp. It seems like that's what he's discovered. It tells you to make 3 wishes, and it counts on you wishing to bring back one of your dead loved ones, which, you know, everyone's gonna have. The problem is it just makes a fake version of that person you love, and then that person tries to kill you, which is pretty insanely evil. It seems to be able to grant your wishes, but then again, Polnareff wishes to be rich just as an experiment, and all this treasure appears, but I reckon all that treasure could just be fake as well. It could just be made out of clay to imitate it, because that's what they do with the dead versions of your loved ones that it brings back. I'd say I dislike it. It's whatever. High Priestess! This is the one they fight in the submarine, I'm pretty sure, where it can just basically mimic like a button or like a pipe, and then it comes out and it just tries to kill you. It also, I think when they escape from the submarine and try to swim up, it turns into like a huge part of the ocean bed and like eats them. And the stand user meets a rather grisly end, where she tells Jotaro that he's her type. They all try to, you know, work with this and like, oh, can I see your face once? Maybe you're my type too. And she's like, oh, really? You're lying. You're just trying to manipulate me. And then she just like basically tries to eat Jotaro with her giant teeth underground. And this is a bad idea because Star Platinum is so strong that it basically punches through all the teeth, destroys them all. And when they beat the stand, they come up and surface. They find like a woman who's just like passed out on the ground. And Polnareff's like, hey, let me check her out. Maybe she's hot. You never see her face, but they're like, Polnareff, what are you doing? And he's just like, no goes, don't look. All her teeth are smashed up. Stay away from her. The thing with stands is that if you beat the stand, that physical damage happens to the person as well. So, you know, you break the stand's arm, you've broken the person's arm. She was a very bad lady, all right? I can't say she got what she deserved. She got what she got. How about that? I'm gonna put this stand as... I wouldn't say it sucks. It's very dangerous, but I don't like it either. Okay, now we're getting to the really interesting stands. Zaful! Iggy! This stand and the stand user is just fucking awesome. I love Iggy as a character. For those of you who don't know, he looks like this. Yeah. So in the show, it's interesting. His art style changes as the show goes on. When he first shows up, he looks like this. But later, as he becomes more of a character with his own thoughts and personality, he starts to look like this. So yeah, when they're fighting Vanilla Ice, he's looking like that. But you gotta see what he looks like in the manga on his first appearance. He looks so ridiculous. Nothing could have ever prepared you for that image. But yeah, so Iggy on his first appearance, he is a dog that got a stand in New York, and he was living quite a good life. He was basically bashing all the other dogs. He had all the bitches to himself, and I think Avdol and Joseph captured him, because obviously a wild dog running around with a stand is just going to cause immense amounts of problems. And then he gets airdropped in around the middle of Stardust Crusaders to help them out. Now, Iggy, the last thing he does for the longest time is help them out. All right, Iggy is a fucking asshole. He likes coffee gum, and he likes to jump on your face, rip out your hair, and fart. That's something he does. He loves to jump on people's faces and fart right into it because he's a fucking asshole. The thing is, though, he doesn't give a shit about the other party members at all. Like, they could all be under life or death circumstances. They could all be about to be killed, and he'll just sit next to them just having a snooze. He doesn't care about them at all at first. And you know what? Completely fair enough. Absolutely fair enough, mate. He was sitting around, minding his own business. All he wanted to do was bang the other hot dog bitches in New York and just lead a quiet, peaceful life. And instead, he gets kidnapped by these assholes who he doesn't even know. He gets flown all the way across the world to Egypt to fight some guy called Dio, who he doesn't even know. He has no reason to fight Dio. Nothing. Dio's done nothing to him. I think that's why I like Iggy a lot. He's a huge piece of shit, but he's also completely justified in how he behaves and how he thinks. The Fool is a very cool stand as well. The Fool is a stand made out of sand. It's a hard counter to, like, Polnareff, for example, gets pissed off and tries to fight him, but he can't even touch him. Because, like, what's your sword gonna do against sand? It's like fighting the Sandman in Spider-Man. The Fool can also glide. It can, I think when Iggy is fighting Pet Shop, who is a hawk with the power of, like, ice, he even, like, hides underwater and makes a little sand barrier for himself, little straws so he can breathe air, hide under there. He can create mirror images with the Fool, because it can fool people. I think it's also named after the Iggy Pop song. I really like this character, and I like this stand a lot. I'm gonna put it in Love It. I'm actually gonna put it up there with Star Platinum. It would lose in a fight to this probably. Then again, could Star Platinum even touch it? It's one of those things where you can't hit the stand, you have to hit the user. I feel a lot for this character because he didn't want to be there, and he had no reason to be there. And you can argue that they ruined his life, really. This stand is also really dangerous. This is a stand that a blind guy uses. He sits really, really far away in the desert somewhere, and this stand follows sound. It's the first thing it does is it scratches out Kakyoin's eyes. It actually, like, puts him out of commission for quite a bit of the show. And you almost think he's gonna go blind. He's back, he comes back, but it will fuck you up, this stand. I think it also nearly kills Avdol as well. Actually, I just remember the way they beat them. Jotaro figures out that Iggy knows where he is, because Iggy's a dog and he can hear him and smell him from a mile away. So I think Iggy tries to save himself by flying away on the Fool, and Jotaro jumps up and grabs him. And I think Iggy even tries to sabotage Jotaro. They've just met. Iggy doesn't give a shit about them. He tries to sabotage him, and Jotaro's like, you know what? Fuck you, dog. He sees where the blind guy is, and he grabs Iggy, and he basically baseball pitches this dog right at the enemy's stand user. I like how the bad guy is like, what kind of a person, what kind of a jerk is this guy? He just threw a dog at me. But that's another thing I like about Jotaro. Jotaro is not a nice guy like Jonathan, and he's not a cheeky nice guy like Joseph. Jotaro is a fucking asshole. He's a dickhead, man. And that's why he's kind of the perfect guy to fight Dio, because Dio's used to fighting nice gentlemen, and then you just get this absolute bastard through Jotaro. I don't know. I love him as a character. He's so cool. I would actually kind of put this stand in like a whatever to dislike. It's not a stand I would like to have. It's still pretty cool though. I'll put it in like just for the fact that it's the reason Jotaro throws a dog at him. Now we're getting to some really weird stands. Oingo boingo! Now these stands actually go hand in hand. So Oingo Boingo is named after the band, believe it or not, who did the song Weird Science. They also did another song called Little Girls, which I am not going to quote. These are the Oingo Boingo brothers, and these guys are super unique. The episodes these guys are in have their own unique theme song and credits song at the end of it. His brother Boingo can basically remold and reshape his entire face to look like literally anyone or anything else. So he even mimics Jotaro. Now the younger brother Boingo, he's got a manga that will predict what's going to happen in like a few minutes, and what it predicts is absolute. It will absolutely happen, and there's nothing you can do to change it. And it also happens in a way that benefits you. So this stand is unbelievably powerful. In my opinion, the only reason this doesn't work is because of plot armor. That's it. It's only plot armor. It's plot armor and immense levels of luck on Jotaro's part. In fact, they are so lucky that in both episodes this gets used, the good guys have no idea this is even happening to them. They don't even know it's going on at the same time. Yeah, the writing in this episode is great, because the thing is that the book will predict the future in which you win, but you also win in the stupidest way possible, the most ridiculous way. And if you don't do what it says, then it will really fuck you up. So what he predicts in his book is that JoJo and the boys are going to get into a car, they're going to drive away, and then an orange bomb is going to explode and it will blow up JoJo's head. So as his brother is planting the bomb in the car, Polnareff and Joseph come back, and in a panic he remolds his face into JoJo, and that's when he's like, oh fuck, It's me. I'm gonna blow up. And this whole episode is just hilarious. In fact, this episode is a great example of how to do comedy in a very serious, intense show without it actually breaking immersion or being cringe. It's Jotaro's face, and it's the same voice actor, but him just acting completely panicked and terrified the whole time because he's heaps scared that he's gonna get found out. Oh, this is so dumb. That's right. He turns his really tall hat into his hair, and it just looks so stupid. I don't think Polnareff and Joseph actually ever figure out that it's an imposter. They just think it's Jotaro acting weird the entire time. They never figure it out. But he's acting so suspicious the whole time. I would actually say oingo boingo. I would say his anime is actually, I would actually put it in love it. I don't care what anyone says. I think if you had this stand in real life, you could almost rule the world, man. You could almost get whatever you want. But the reason it doesn't work in the show is because, you know, the main characters have plot armor. You can't just kill them that easily. I would also say this stand where you can rearrange your entire face. I kind of love it as well because it's so stupid. This is a really weird tier list. Like, I'm putting these next to Star Platinum. Remember, this isn't about what's the strongest. This is about what I like the most. Anubis. Whoa, this is really dangerous. Basically, the stand user died 500 years ago, but he made this sword and his stand just lives on in that. And if you pick up the sword, it will basically choose who it wants to take control of. You can be a complete amateur, you can be rubbish, and it will basically turn you into a combat master as soon as it decides that you are its wielder. It's quite confusing for the main party because they beat the guy holding the sword, so what's going on? And then they realize, like, fuck, the sword is the stand. And when this sword controls Polnareff, that's when Jotaro realizes he's in a really dangerous situation because now he's fighting Silver Chariot and he's fighting, like, this sword stand at the same time. And he realizes, I might actually have to kill Polnareff or else I'm gonna die. I like this stand. I think it's good. I think it's very strong and it's very unique and interesting how it operates. It doesn't work like anything else. Bastet. Bastet is strong. I think the reason the stand user loses is because she tries to bite off more than she can chew. Also, she's really hot, so let's pull her up. Okay, well, okay. She's not hot in this moment. That's when she gets really angry at them for 1 second. But for the most part, she looks like this. She's kawaii. So she basically creates this sort of little wall socket plug on something where it shouldn't be, like a rock. And you're just kind of like, what is that? Why is it even there? And you kind of touch it out of curiosity, and when you do, it magnetizes your body, and your body becomes more and more magnetic over time, and it builds and builds until you're literally magnetizing like cars into you. You're magnetizing like telephone poles into you, electric wires, crowbars, hammers, and shit, and it will just basically crush you, and you'll die. She magnetizes both Joseph and Avdol at the same time. Oh my god! They get stuck to each other. They manage to turn themselves around, and they try to slide off each other, but it just looks like Avdol is sucking off Joseph. It looks so bad. I'll see if I can find a visual for it. So, I can't type Avdol sucking off Joseph because we're gonna get imagery that's not from the show, and you all know what I mean. She can magnetize me. Know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I am saying?
She can't just magnetize you and leave you because then the stand doesn't work anymore. So she has to magnetize you and then hang around you so its power continues to grow. The problem is she has too much ego. So she kind of gives herself away straight away and then just taunts them. Whereas what she should do is magnetize them and then just like hide. I would put Bastet, I'd even say I love it. I love it for the episode it resulted in. Like that just, the whole thing was fucking hilarious. It was so good. Sethan, LSC. This one's really dangerous. So what this does is he sends his shadow out to you. And if you touch his shadow, even for a moment, that's still enough to revert you to like an 8-year-old. And when you revert to an 8-year-old, you lose the knowledge you had after being 8. So Polnareff doesn't even remember Jotaro's name. His stand is really weak. And the stand user is such a piece of shit. All he does is he turns you back into a kid and then he bashes you. So I would say the stand is actually overpowered. And the only reason that he wins is through like anime physics. Because he eventually runs into Jotaro and he turns him into like an 8-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid. He's like, haha, I've beaten you. And I think 8-year-old Jotaro just walks right up to him and just clocks him in the face. The plot twist is that Jotaro, even as a kid, was unbelievably brutal. Even as a kid, he was a fucking asshole. He was just really strong. And he's just like on top of him, just like, aura, 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 aura. And the guy's like, oh my God, why is this kid so strong? This is ridiculous. I think this stand is really strong. but I don't like it. I think this is a really dirty way to beat people. But I like this villain. I think this guy's such a good villain. He's such a good enemy. Darby! Oh, this stand is awesome. Darby is one of the most dangerous stand users they come across. This guy is really, really strong. He is a gambler. This stand will come out of his body, and if you lose, it will just take your soul and mold it into like a gambling chip and just go whom. And then he like puts it in his book and he just collects you. If you lose to this guy in gambling, which you will because he's brilliant, he can shuffle the deck in a way. Let me put it this way. When he shuffles cards, he can feel just by the touch of each card what number and suit it is, which is completely impossible. You know, this is anime physics. He can do it there. He also controls everyone in the bar and in the town. So whoever random person you choose to deal, they're all master dealers that are all under his control, and you'll lose. You know what's also really interesting about this stand? The stand is not what you're fighting. You're actually fighting this guy. All the stand does is take your soul after you lose to him, and that's really cool. He's not depending on his stand's ability. He's depending on his own skills and his own knowledge. So in a way, it's almost more interesting than some of the fights in this show, because gambling like this is something you can do in real life. It's got like immense levels of creativity to it. I don't know. It's sick. For that reason alone, I would actually put Darby's stand as love it. It's not even the stand that I love here. It's actually like that whole episode. It's Darby's ability. It's the fact that Darby is winning entirely on his own skills against stand users, and all his stand does is finish you off after you've lost. He's actually a phenomenal character. And even Jotaro at the end acknowledges, this guy is probably the strongest guy we've ever faced, man. We didn't even fight him, and he nearly killed 2 of us. The next one we have is Pet Shop. I won't spend too much time on this one. This is basically a hawk. No, it's a falcon that fights Iggy. It basically drops giant icicles on you. It's got the power of ice. It actually really fucks Iggy up. It actually rips off one of his arms, which is quite shocking. I thought it was like an illusion. It's like, oh shit, no, he actually just took the dog's paw off. He basically guards Dio's mansion. I'd say it's whatever. Darby, but not Darby Sr. The gambler has a younger brother, and this guy plays video games. This is quite interesting. He's able to read your mind, and whatever question he asks you, if it's a yes or no question, your soul will answer it. So that's where one of these memes come from, where he's just like, Jotaro, are you gonna throw this kind of pitch? And Jotaro's soul is just like, yes, 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 no, 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 or just like that. This seems unbeatable, because it's like they're playing a baseball game. It's like, oh, is he gonna throw a straight fastball, or is he gonna do like a curveball? As long as I ask you the question and you answer, I'll know what it is. But then it comes to the point where Jotaro's soul is saying yes, but he's throwing the opposite type of thing, and he can't figure this out. He's like, how is your soul lying? How are you able to do this? And he's like, have you rigged the machine? No, no, no. Are you cheating? Yes, yes, yes. And he's like, what do you mean you're cheating? And Jotaro's like, hey, you know, if you don't get caught, it's not cheating. And the way they're doing it is actually so stupid. I think Joseph Joestar is using his stand, Hermit Purple. He's using the like little purple vines to wrap around and play the machine, while Jotaro's just pretending to play it instead. And that's all they're doing. It's the stupidest cheat ever. They actually have quite a good line here where Darby says, I'm not like my older brother. He cheats, I don't need to, because I can read your soul. Well, he doesn't tell him he can read their soul, but he's like, I don't need to cheat. But Joseph and Jotaro are like, your older brother actually would have caught us in 1 second, because he's a master cheater. He would have been expecting something as stupid as that. So that was quite interesting. Do I even like it? It's extremely situational. I don't dislike it, but I don't think it's great either. Well, I think it's a good stand, but it's extremely situational. We'll just put it in whatever. I'm probably pissing off the whole JoJo fandom with this tier list. This one is just an illusion stand. All this does is just like make them think the mansion looks like something else. It's again, whatever. No one cares about this one. Vanilla Icy. This stand is unbelievably dangerous. This stand is nuclear. This stand is actually very similar to Okuyasu's from Diamond is Unbreakable. Okuyasu has the hand, which can basically just scrape anyone or anything out of existence. Except Okuyasu is such a fucking idiot that he never uses this effectively, like ever. Whereas this, like Vanilla Ice, is very smart and he is extremely strong-willed. His stand is like basically this huge ball that wherever it goes or wherever it moves, it literally just scrapes shit out of existence. Vanilla Ice is really, really strong. He's also got a hilarious name. I just like hearing Dio say his name. Vanilla Ice. I'm gonna put it in Love It out of sheer respect for its immense destructive power. It's like a scary stand, man. If Jotaro, Joseph, and Kakyoin had to face this instead of the other way around with Polnareff, Iggy, and Avdol, I reckon it would have killed. It could have killed one of them too, but then they got plot armor, so they both have to survive. But it's really lethal. It's easily one of the strongest stands in the game. Like they do a 1v3 and it nearly kills like all his opponents. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, we have Dio-sama Zawardi! This stand is absolutely magnificent. At first, it's stronger and faster than Star Platinum. Whenever we discuss, you know, what kind of superpowers would you want, or what kind of superpower would win in this fight or beat that, it almost always comes down to stopping time. If you can stop time, you can just beat anyone. You can even beat the Flash. He can't move if time is stopped. So what the writer has done here is like, well, what if someone had that power and they were the main enemy? They were the main villain. Like, how are you supposed to beat this? And you don't even know he can do that. He has set up the heroes against a literally impossible power to defeat, and it's just incredible the way this all plays out. The very first time you see it in action is actually kind of really funny when you think about it, which is Polnareff telling Dio he's going to walk up these steps to kill him, but every time he walks up the steps, he just appears a few steps below, which from Polnareff's perspective is terrifying. From our perspective, it's hilarious because all Dio's doing is stopping time, walking down, picking up Polnareff, putting him a few steps down, and then walking back up to the top again and assuming his pose. The problem is, if you actually see how this is done, it looks really stupid, but that's exactly what Dio is doing. It increases my respect for Dio. He's got a sense of humor as well, because that is so stupid. That's so funny. Kakyoin is the one who figures out the secret of his stand. And this is why I like Kakyoin a lot, because he's very, very smart. He's laid up an entire web of Hierophant Green's tendrils around Dio to trap him. And then when he's about to Emerald Splash him, Dio's like, all right, you've earned it. Zawardi! And then immediately Kakyoin has a hole through his entire like body, and he's just flying back and slamming into a water tank. He's like, what the fuck just happened? And he realizes I'm dead. He's punched my whole spine out, all my organs. I can't even talk. Like, I can't even move. How'd he do that? And he realizes, he's like, how did he cut? He didn't just cut all the tendrils one by one, because he can feel that. He's like, they cut them all at the exact same time. How did he do this? How did he do this with no time? He can stop time. How do I tell the others this? I'm fucking dead. And with his last bit of energy, he Hierophant Green Emerald splashes the clock tower behind them. To which Dio thinks he's missed, but Joseph realizes like, hang on, wait, Kakyoin doesn't do stupid shit like that, or he wouldn't have missed. Why has he done that? Why has he deliberately hit that? And that's how he's able to figure out this guy can stop time. So it's just awesome. It's just an amazing ability. When Dio and Jotaro actually fight each other, they have this awesome exchange where it's the whole sort of like, ho, mukata koro no ka, which is like, you're approaching me. And Jotaro says something like, I can't beat the shit out of you unless I'm closer. And he's like, oh, then come as close as you like to. Now, what I like about this exchange is that in a lot of acting, right, or a lot of scenes, usually one character is dominant over the other, or one character stronger than the other. But in that exchange between Jotaro and Dio, you can't really tell who's the stronger one in that scene. Who's winning the scene? They kind of both are. They're both as determined, they're both as dangerous as each other. Two gigachads, you could say. Yeah, exactly. And I quite like that. Who's got more power in that scene? It just depends on who's talking. When Dio's talking, he seems the strongest. When Jotaro's talking, he seems the strongest. And I think that's a very cool little thing they've done. Another thing I really like about Dio and the world is while he is immensely strong and his stand is beyond overpowered, this does not make him reckless. Dio is also extremely cautious and careful, and that makes him extremely schemy and cunning. It makes him a guy with just like so many strengths and almost no weaknesses. When he realizes Jotaro can actually move for a few seconds within stop time, he's like, damn, I can't even get close to you safely within stop time. So how do I test how long you can move for? It's like, oh, I know. Pulls out like a billion knives. Just throws like hundreds and hundreds of knives into him that all just like stop at the last second. To which Jotaro's like, oh fuck. Oh! And he can knock away like 5. And then time continues again, and he can knock away most of them, but he still get hits by 3. Dio is insanely cunning and clever, which is like the last thing you needed on top of everything else. He's also immensely charismatic. Sorry, we should be talking about the world, but you really can't talk about the world without talking about Dio. And I'll tell you what, if you ever watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's worth, obviously watch the anime, but it's also worth watching the OVAs, like the movies they did of Stardust Crusaders back in the 90s. At the very least, watch the fight between JoJo and Dio, because something it does that's really interesting is that the movies and the anime, they take 2 very different approaches to showing how the world works, at least to my memory. In the anime, it's very cinematic, it's very spectacular. You know, when he stops time, he goes, Zawarudo! The whole world turns purple and it's just like, whoa, sound effect, dubstep, one, and it's just like, oh shit, it's, you know, it's really hype, it's really awesome. But in the OVAs, there's a part where he's talking to Jotaro and he's here, and then mid-sentence, he's just here, and the mid-sentence, he's just here. And it's, in the anime during that part, it's like, each time, but in the movie, no. And it actually, instead of creating a spectacular effect, it's this really eerie, how would I say, it expresses the frightening reality of someone who can actually stop time. It's like, they're just here, and then the next moment, they're just right in front of you. Or they're just like, here. Like, you actually feel insanely powerless in the face of it. And I don't know, I don't think either ways of expressing the world is wrong, because they're not even trying to do the same thing. It's worth watching the OVAs for that reason. It's only like 8 hours. You can knock them out pretty quickly. Also, Dio's voice in Japanese in those OVAs sounds absolutely hilarious, because we're used to like, ho, mukatta koro no ka. But in the OVAs, he's like, like, he just sounds heaps weird, and it kind of makes him even scarier in a way. Well, not scarier, but just like, it adds a certain offness. Aesthetically, the world looks sick as well. Yeah, it's really cool. It's able to stop time for 5 seconds, but after he drinks Joseph's blood, he's able to stop time for about like 11. It just looks mad as well. It just looks really strong. Like, there's nothing silly, nothing comical, nothing wacky about it. It just looks really powerful. This stand is where another one of JoJo's great memes comes from, Zawardu, which is even in Megabonk. There's an item in Megabonk, an hourglass, called Zawardu. When you take fatal damage, it will actually just stop time for several seconds and gives you a chance to run away. And I think it breaks on that usage as well. So the memes from this show, from this manga, this anime, have pervaded into mainstream culture across the entire board. It's just such an incredible piece of storytelling. In my opinion, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a magnificent work of art, and I can't say enough good things about it. And that is why Zawardu goes in not shit tier, but in I love it. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what? Let's put it right next to Star Platinum Zaward. Brilliant stuff right there. Thank you guys for enjoying my tier list. I don't even know if I'd call this a tier list. I would just say that, like, it stands based on how much I like them. I'm gonna swap one. I'm gonna put Bastet into like. That's it. Video's over. Zaward!